What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Tactical Foul. I'm Kyle Grew, as always. Whether or not you're tired of it or not, I don't really care because I'm going to keep coming and talking to you guys. Luckily for you, you don't just have to hear my voice. I have a special guest, great friend. Honestly, at this point, just about lifelong friend. Played soccer together, been through it all. Collin, welcome.
Hi, nice to be on and see you, I guess. I mean, I don't really want you over at my house right now, but I guess here you are.
As you can see, we improvise with the set. That's just what we do around here. We just kind of go with the flow.
No, dude's always strapped, so everyone chill out. He's just ready for it all the time.
He thought we were just having a nice night, just hanging out.
I thought we were watching the Lakers tonight, and instead, here we go, doing a podcast.
Here we go. So, it's a long time coming. Obviously, you've listened to some shows. You have been a part of some of these episodes with just like the top 10s that we've done, had your votes in there and whatnot.
Don't know why.
Well,
sort of care a little bit. Took me like a week to get back to you, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but also, I mean, it made sense that we got your vote on the outside backs. You know, you did play outside back. So I think that is something that's important.
Going on adventures?
Yeah.
Going on an adventure from right back.
Wanna be Danny Alves out here.
Knockoff brand over here.
Yo, that's not even knockoff. That is straight up
wholesale. We're wholesale.
That's New York.
We're doing our best, okay?
New York street vendor.
Oh man,
opens the coat type fake.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah, but no. So, all right. Obviously, he's gonna be humble. He's gonna act as if he doesn't have any clue what's going on, and
typically don't.
But obviously, you have a pedigree within the sport. You played at some high levels during your club career, some decent high levels.
Yeah.
Went on to play in college. So tell us a little bit where you've been with that.
So we started, played local for a long time.
Probably too long.
Yeah, way too long. And, there's other things that played into that, like other sports, and I don't know that was necessarily bad. But for my soccer career, it wasn't great.
Right.
We started in Bay City at BASA, played there represent. I started there when I was like 4 because couldn't play football. And looked up to my cousins my whole life and was like, I'm going to play football one day. Once I get big enough, and God blessed me with a 5'1" mom and a 5'9" dad.
It wasn't happening.
Was not in the cards for me.
Yeah.
So we played, and I played there until I was probably 16. Went and tried out for Michigan Wolves. Made their team. Didn't really play. Ended up going to Midland actually in that span too. Played there for a season, which was good. I met some cool people. Had a good coach. Went and played in an international event, which was really cool. Made the final. Didn't play well personally, but we lost in the final. Then we went, and I went with you to Vardar, and that was an incredible experience. Got good coaching. Really liked the coach. Made lifelong friends there.
For sure.
And for me, like, that was the biggest thing. Like, the captain of that team, two of the captains on those teams, or that team, excuse me, were Thomas and Chaz, and those are friends that I talk to every day.
Right.
So that's cool. I mean, that's part of the experience is developing these relationships that are more than just soccer. Which was, and we played good soccer and we were good, and our team was, I don't know, we're top 15 in the state, something like that.
Yeah.
We were never going to win a state title. No, we weren't. Like, we can pretend that we were. No. But I mean, but we were good. We were good. Moments. We were a good team, and we competed with some of the best teams in the state, and we'd play for 60 minutes really well. And then we were like, we're not as good as you. And they would beat us. And listen, that's cool. Like,
that's literally what happened in state cup.
Exactly what happened.
Second best team in the region.
Yeah, and right? You guys were nails for 70 minutes.
70 minutes, and then it was 4-1.
Yeah, I mean, that's just part of it, right? Like, I mean, that goes across just soccer. Like, right. Their pressure was unbelievable. And that's something, like, in my life that we talk about a lot, but it's just pressure of things and moments and all these things, and we can get in that later. But they just broke us down and ended up with, pumping us for 4, But, like, we were good, and then I went on to Defiance that year after we were at Vardar together, and then I came back, and I didn't like soccer that much. I didn't. And then a guy that you've had on the podcast, a good friend of both of ours, Cameron, made a big impact on me and was like, "What are you doing? Like, what's your plan?" And we talked, and he did his thing, and he came home, and he and I put in work, and you were there for some of that.
Yeah.
We would play and we would train late at night in a gym by ourselves. Like I remember a night before I left, about a year before I left to go, and I ended up at Concordia, University of Ann Arbor, for a bit, and then that some stuff happened with me personally that I needed to be away. But there was a night before, I think it was Labor Day weekend. It was like a Thursday or Friday of Labor Day weekend. I remember Cam and I went in at like 9:00 and we texted you and we're like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "Nothing. I'm literally at home."
Yeah.
And we played for like 2 hours. Like a guy would be on the ball and two guys would defend him. And it was just like win the ball back and keep it as long as you can. And like I look back at that and like, man, that was fun. That was super fun for me. And I know Cam and I, we talk about those nights with people that we play pickup with now. Like, man, we were just grinding. Like that is, for me, that's where I got better, was doing stuff like that. It wasn't playing organized games. We play in a league. It wasn't doing that. It was going to play with my friends and doing silly activities, playing soccer involving soccer. And that's where I thought that I made the biggest jump. And I was out of it for, I think, 3 years where I didn't really do anything besides play. Like I just played pickup before I went back to school. I was in school, obviously, but
right. And I think that's one thing that like we've kind of touched on. Like obviously, like you said, Cam's been on the podcast many times. He likes to say co-owner. Still ain't getting no money.
He likes to claim. It's cool. Love Cam. Great guy.
Love you, Cam. But I do think we talked about like the pickup stuff, but I don't think it's anything we've ever really really dove into here. And yeah, I agree. I think it's like even before that, right? Because like even as like high schoolers and stuff, we play pickup like 5v5 summer league. And
that was organized though.
It was somewhat organized, but some of the Carroll Park stuff was just kind of pickup.
Yeah, you just play.
Like when we go to Handy and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
and we did like that. Yeah,
I think that was some of like the biggest development, probably the biggest development. Obviously, there was some, I think, technical aspect of the game that was the biggest development for me, and probably you'd probably say you. I think we were fortunate to have some our coach at Vardar was good, so I think that's maybe where we got to hone in, and like obviously you had a good coach in Midland and when you're at Wolves, that's when maybe we honed in some of like the tactical stuff a little bit, but like the technical stuff was really, it was playing pickup. It was because we had good groups, right? Like even when like we didn't always have the greatest players, right? Like
no, but you had a bunch of players who wanted to be there.
That wanted to be there, work hard, right? Like we played obviously I was younger than you and Cam, but like I would be a 13, 14-year-old kid, you would be 14, 15, whatever it is, playing against 18.
We played together, and like we always so we were always on the same, like we were the same year.
Right,
like I'm a year older than you, but we were the same year. But like we always, even in our youth program, like when we played at local program, like we always were playing older teams, and I think that's where for me, like I look at that a little differently. And and I have a little bit different background than you do, athletically, right?
Right. For sure.
So for me, like those like playing up, and I remember like, and you probably remember this too. We drove 2.5 hours to Gaylord to play a local team, a year older than us, right? We beat them. Of course, yeah, Cam, how you like that? But. So that's like for me, that's where I mean, and you're touching on like playing pickup games with like 18-year-olds. Like Dan was 3 years older than us.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, he's 3 years older than you, right? 3 years older
than me, yeah.
So he's 3 years older than me age wise. Just I mean, graduation year, it's a little different. But we won't. That's
fair. He's probably 3 years older than you.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was in '92. Yeah. So he's that could be whatever. He's 2.5, 3 years older than me, and we played with him every day. Not every time we went out. And that for me, it wasn't even the technical skill that I like think that I honed the most. I think at that point it was like a competitive spirit. Like me, and a lot of people that know me are like, man, he's competitive about stupid stuff, like silly stuff. And it's just like that's where like it was there just this natural ability to say it just became really natural to say I'm not going to lose.
Right.
I will not lose.
Well, because you couldn't when you're that.
Because you get bullied,
especially if you're the young kid and you're losing all the time. Like
they don't even want you to come back at that point.
Right. Exactly. So you have to.
So you have to have some fight in you. And I think like our group this area didn't do a great job in terms of developing that in people. I think they did not necessarily in soccer. But this area is. I think our area is competitive in baseball. I think they're competitive in basketball. I think my area, like wrestling, we're getting there. Like soccer, I think you guys, the coaches that I know that are in this area are doing a really good job of promoting that.
I do think though, it's kind of funny though, when we talk about that. Cause and again, harking back to like previous episodes and stuff like that, but like talk to like LJ, right?
Yeah.
Midland kid. And this is something that comes up like in the club and like when we talk about like kids and whatnot, like Bay City, the one thing that you're gonna like it doesn't matter. It's not just like us. Or, like the one thing that like people are like you're gonna get is like they're gonna like die before they like give up, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of inbred, and obviously I think Bay City is the most like working class. People, right? Like
for sure.
I know Saginaw's close. It's a little bit of a hybrid, right? Because you have like severe upper class and then severe lower class, right?
Yeah.
So and you have that in Bay City.
But in Bay City,
it's a lot
more blue collar people.
It's very much blue collar people and stuff like that. And so I think that's where it's bred from. And like, it's clearly even though we've done nothing football wise in a long time, it's a football town. It's definitely a baseball town, and that's
sure.
And that's fair because there's actually success.
A ton.
Yeah, right?
We have pro players that come from this area.
Absolutely. So those are kind of those type of sports that you kind of put that with. You don't necessarily put it with soccer, but the truth is those are the kids that we grow up with, and those are the families that we're born into. You have that instilled in you, and I think that is a big reason why. Because like we all have that like not gonna give up, gonna keep grinding thing, which is why our pickup was competitive and also thrived, right? Because for a while we and obviously a lot of people in college, so their schedules are a little bit different and stuff, and like people just getting out of high school, so like we would have a ton of people.
There was times we had massive groups.
We'd have to do two games of
8v8.
Yeah, it was
6v6, 8v8. I remember one time. We're playing at Delta. We had 3 games of 6-on-6.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 36 people. Like, and
I know how much money we could have made if we.
Oh man, like, we should have we should play like skins, but and I, you talk about the competitive spirit, and that's like a big thing for me.
Right.
Like, that's a massive thing for me, because like I look at the guys that we play with. The guys that we played with. A lot of them, the majority, I'll say the majority, I don't know the percentage on it, they're successful individuals in our society.
Right, for sure.
And obviously you want to win and you want to have success in the youth game and in the high school game and college game. And that's as far as any of us have ever gotten.
Yeah, for sure.
And in our group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or at least our starting group.
Our immediate
group, that was the core of it. And
absolutely.
But that's the goal for me. Like, I want to see guys develop, and for youth sports for me is all about developing character, developing this spirit and this work ethic and these morals that there's successful people in society. I mean, and like, you know me, and some of you may, and most of you probably don't, but that's the thing. Like, I coach things now. I coach a sport, and that's all we talk about. And for you, I know that, like, I know the guys that I know what you look for in a kid.
Right.
And you're looking for a competitive spirit, work ethic. Like, those are things that you're going to instill in your players.
Yeah,
and that's super cool to me. And like, that's the thing that I harnessed the most from our pickup stuff was this, just like, I remember going home and just being mad, just being upset about a pickup game. Like, I just got beat 7-2.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell just happened? What could I do? What could I have done better? Like, think about this. Man, there are YouTube videos of us playing pickup online.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? Like, we're not even good.
No.
Like, we're nothing.
And the funny thing is, they meant nothing. We weren't going anywhere with it. It was just us having fun. And I remember so many times
Going back and watching it?
not even going back.
I did.
Yeah, I definitely went back and watched it.
Wow, I sucked at minute 32. Wow.
100%.
Nice defense, Collin.
But like games would be done, I would lose, so competitive, and I'm just like, and I'm getting, and people are like, yeah, good game, Kyle, like, blah, blah, and like we're leaving, I'm like, fuck off, like I'm like,
Yeah.
like don't fucking talk to me.
Don't
And
touch me.
And then like there's been times where I'm like sitting in my car after, I'm like, that was so unnecessary.
Completely. But there's
like,
nothing you can do about it. There's
I don't
nothing you
care
can do about it.
because like, but like at the end of the day, like I did that. And like that person was like, all right, relax. But at the same time, like most people we played with had that moment at some point. Right? Like,
all our core group did.
It's a culture.
Do you remember the board at home that was like right there?
Yeah.
You took a lot of L's.
I got put on.
You got put on bad teams sometimes, but listen, all I know is I had more wins than losses.
You
did not.
I want to state this right here for the record. Cam can confirm this. The person that rigged their teams the most
me
was Collin.
I rigged the team the most. I was going to win.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I very, very, very seldomly selected teams.
No, you didn't select teams.
I would put myself on a team. That's different though.
Midway through selection.
Yeah, like I think I need to be on blue. They don't got enough defenders.
Yeah, 100%. So
and then I would have the best attacker. And the best creator. Like, so what? Like, listen, I got told by a coach one time, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah,
So, I mean, and listen, he's a really good coach.
No.
He is. He's a really good coach.
And coaching is definitely an aspect that we both relate on. Obviously, we went in different paths. And I want to talk about both paths that you kind of went down. We'll talk. I know, like obviously, the big one's wrestling, right?
Yeah, but we don't got to get into that right away.
We
with that, I could go for 2 hours on that.
Absolutely, same way like with the soccer. But there was a time where you did get into some soccer coaching, and interesting. I think a little bit different. Like you kind of got roped in with Cam.
Yeah, Cam said we're gonna do this.
Yeah, and
I said okay.
Coaching some high school girls.
Man, let me tell you. You finish. There's things, man.
Not the most glorious of jobs.
Nope.
But you did it, and I imagine, you got something out of that experience.
For sure.
So I guess talk to us a little. What was that? That was your only foray really into soccer coaching.
Yeah, I did a youth team 1 year.
But like.
Yeah, but they were young, and
right, exactly.
It was more about development than anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
And developing competitive spirit.
For sure.
Which was fun because like. Yeah, that was fun. That was the most made that like youth team, like young team, may have been the most fun that I've ever had.
Yeah, for sure. I get that.
They were wild. They're so fun. Anyways, back to the high school thing. Yeah, so Cam comes home and is like, I have to start coaching. You're gonna help me. And I was like, wait, what? Me? And he's like, yeah, man, like you're probably the best around. And I was like, that's a sad state of Bay City soccer if I'm the best around. Because I wasn't doing anything. He's like, well, you played in college. Like, you had to learn something. And I was like, my coach would disagree. But, there was things that we took. And so I think that was, so it had been 2015 because I think it was the year after Madison graduated. Because I didn't coach Madison. Cam did, I think. No, because she was, 2 years behind? A year behind you?
You're behind me, yeah.
So 2014. So he coached a little bit there, and I think he went to Australia for a little bit, which was a great decision on his part. Not coaching high school soccer, going to Australia.
Absolutely,
great decision. So yeah, we come in, and he's like So it was cool because for me, like it was a little bit like our high school or our youth coach was the head coach,
right?
Larry Jacobs. And he was like, I want you guys to help. And at that point, like, I didn't know what I wanted to do with anything. I didn't know if I even wanted to coach. Like, for me, I hated wrestling. Well, I was getting back into it, but I hated it. Like, cut too much weight. Like, I want to do something where I can have fun. Like, I was having fun playing soccer. Cam and I were playing every day together at the time.
And you were still in soccer mode.
I was in soccer mode, and I wanted to. But I didn't know that I wanted to coach. I was still more on the like, I'm going to go play.
Right, absolutely.
Like I will still go play, and ultimately I did. And I think coaching that team helped me do that. So we coached, and we went in, and we did a preseason, and we didn't handle it the best way. We had injuries and we didn't know what to do. We were young, man. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I think I was like 19, 20, something like that. Cam was like 20, 21, somewhere in there. Like, I'm not going to do the math right now.
Absolutely. Something like that.
Like, we were young and we didn't know. Like, I mean, I was out of a college program for a year. Like, we worked hard. That's what we did. We weren't good. We worked hard.
For sure.
And that's how we won games. And that's how we were competitive with really good teams in our division and in the country. We were just like, we're going to work harder than you are.
Right.
And so that was something that, like, I was a defender and Cam let me do that and work with the back line and basically set up the back line the way I wanted to. And he gave me that free reign and it was cool. Like, and we were not good. We were bad. I mean, we started the year well and we were doing fine.
Yeah.
But we were injured late in the year. And I don't know, like, some of that was freak injury. Like, we had a patella dislocate, like in a warm-up, like playing a pass, and you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, who's gonna
like, you can't plan for that. And when players get injured who are important pieces, and they were, the team's morale went
absolutely
down and we didn't know what to do. Like, we're like, work harder. That's what I was basically saying. I don't know what Cam was saying necessarily. I don't remember, but I know what I was thinking. And that was just the culture that I came from. We talk about the never say die attitude that we talked about earlier. That's the culture that I came from. And I come from a wrestling background. It's fight for everything. It's don't concede. It's the next guy's got to step up, or in our case, girl. And it was, we had a lot to deal with. Yeah. And we were young and it didn't work out. And I don't think that, I mean, it helped Cam get into his career. And it helped me push to say, like, okay, maybe coaching a team isn't for me. Maybe that's not for me. Maybe it's more, I need to focus on individuals. And then I went in a different path of coaching, and where it's more a little bit, we can focus more on the individual. Because soccer, and I give you guys a lot of credit, when you coach teams, there's a lot of problems to be solved, and they have to be solved very quickly. And my personality and the way I'm wired was like, we need to fix this right now.
Right.
And then you go from one to one to one to one to one, and you go from one thing to the next, and all of a sudden you've wasted 2 weeks and you've really addressed nothing in a soccer team. Right. And you guys are awesome. I don't know that I could do that. But it was fun, and I learned a lot about how to manage humans, young humans,
which is, I mean, the biggest thing, really.
For sure. I mean, you and I had a discussion earlier today about Pep being way better than Sir Alex because he's a way better tactical manager. I mean, it's true. It's fine.
Not what I said.
I believe that's what you said.
No, that's not what I said. I said Pep.
You said, did spot the lie? Did you or did you not say that Pep was better tactically than Sir Alex? That's all I'm asking. Just answer the question.
Those words were combined, but there were other words around that.
We're gonna be selective right now. Okay, I'm being very selective.
I said he's viewed as the most tactical manager.
Do you disagree with that? I don't.
I mean,
I think he's the best, but
I think he's the second best manager of all time. As I stated on our top 10 managers of all time that I did with Cameron.
You're wrong, but I mean, listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Some are wrong. Yeah, yours,
like yours.
It's fine. We're good. Anyways, but yeah, I learned a lot about that, and I think Cam used that experience, and I don't know that he harnesses it now, because he's had much more experience since then. But I think that in the beginning of his career, that was,
vital.
It was vital. Yeah, it was important to his development. And, and I know he's played a little bit of a role in your career. Like, I don't know necessarily mentoring is the word that I would use. But
a lot of collaboration.
Yeah, collaboration. That's a better word.
Which is, I think, I mean, obviously I don't coach wrestling, but like I think in any coaching, honestly, in any really thing you do, collaboration is massive. If you're willing to collaborate, like, you're gonna probably have more success.
100%. Like, I was so close-minded about stuff for a long time, and then I had, and I worked with another friend of ours, coaching wise, sure. And he opened my eyes, and then we had another guy come in that was better than both of us, and he's been a major mentor on me, and he's opened my eyes to a lot of things, and being closed-minded, it for the first couple of years of my coaching career, it was, I mean, Cam, again, so going back to Cam, he made a major impact on me as a player. Like, he trained me. Like, I was a little guinea pig for him. I like to think that, right? Like, I was, right? Like, I trained with him every day. He ran specific trainings for me to get me better, to get me fit, to make me good. And, you know, when I went and played, I had this one-track mind of this is the way things have to be done. Right. Like, I thought, and I still think very highly of him, but at the time I was like, he's the best. And I told you earlier, I think he's the best. And, you know, and so when you have that guy who's influencing you, you say, okay, this is the way to do it. And I had to learn in college a little bit, like, okay, that doesn't fit what we're doing.
Yeah, right.
Do I agree with what we were doing all the time? No, I don't. I think we could have been a lot better had we done things.
Right.
I think we moved out of a formation that we were wild with. Like, we were incredibly successful with. In preseason, we were incredibly successful with it, and we were learning it. Like, none of us had ever played it before. And I was like, why are we changing? And that was frustrating for me. Right. Like, not that I lost a role or anything like that, but it changed my role, and I was certainly more successful in the other role, but I also thought our team was better. Right. And I don't know, like, that's hard. You know, you're still a kid and you have your own ideas, but then I had taken a break and I'd coached, and now I'm like, man, we should be doing this. Right. You know, I don't recommend that. I don't recommend coaching and playing. Right. I don't recommend it to people at all, because it sucks. Because you have your own ideas. Yeah. And you just got to be a good soldier at that point and do what you're told.
Yeah, it is tough. I think, you know, the truth is, I think, and Cam would say the same thing, is like the coaching aspect of this, of like our lives, has actually improved us as players. So like there is that weird line where like, you can become 100% better. 100% agree. But I do understand from like that standpoint where it is hard, especially as a 19,
it's
20-year-old kid, where like, no, you kind of feel like you, especially when like you've done it a little bit now. Yeah. Now you're like, nah, I know.
Yeah. I'll say, and you know, so you guys are a little bit different of me than when you were playing, right? So like you guys are better players for sure because of your coaching. And I played with you, and I see it. I see the development. But I also think, like, you're within a structure that allows you to do that. Right. You know, it's a little more lax than where I went into. I went into a highly competitive environment. No. And I'm not trying to...
No, absolutely. No, you're right.
But you guys also influence the teams that you're on to play the way that you want, because it's a laxed environment.
Our men's league is completely different than going to play in a college system. I think I totally agree. It is totally different. I think it could still help even in that aspect, but it is far more difficult to like remove yourself from that coaching experience than it is for us, because we don't have to remove ourselves, because I mean there's no coach on our team. No. We're all player coaches. So like if we have this idea, and now maybe sometimes, right, like, you know,
I know that's been frustrating for players on our team too, like in our men's league. I know that for a fact.
Like, I have ideas. Cam has ideas. Last time we played, it was pretty easy because we were like, all right, well, Louis, you're the head.
You're the best.
You're the head men's coach of the SVSU. You can coach. It's all good, dude.
We'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, you got the ideas.
So last time we played, unfortunately, COVID canceled our season this year. But and the year before though, like, we had 4 coaches on that team that are legit coaches. Yeah, at least 4. I mean.
Oh, 4.
Excuse me. Like, we really had 6, but 4 soccer coaches, right? You know what I mean? We had 2 wrestling coaches who were like, we'll go fight him now.
That is true.
Like, I will hit single legs and he will hit high crotches.
That is true.
But like, I mean, and I know that Tyler and I were looking at this sometimes, and he's my wrestling coach. I don't know, you guys probably don't know Tyler. I coached wrestling with him, and unfortunately, he left me for California. It's fine. I'm over it.
He does watch these, so he's...
Yeah, great. Yeah, you shouldn't be in California. It's fine. I'm over it, really. It's only been 5. I'm really fine. But, I know that like we just sit there sometimes and be like, we just gotta go after these guys, and you guys are like, no, we don't, and I'm like, let's fight them though, like just let's try to make it a fist fight, and everyone's like, that's stupid, and they're right, like it is, but it's just that's hard too, when you have so many people that have good ideas, and all you are different coaches, like every single one of you are different coaches, and that's difficult, and I don't know how to manage that.
And honestly, the truth is, besides Cam and maybe Louis to an extent, but like honestly, we're all different coaches. We all have different philosophies. Some of them may intertwine more than some of the other ones, but also like some of us also are different players.
You're all different players.
Not even just all different players, but we're different players even than the way that we play sometimes.
So who of you four do you think is the most like they coach? And I only know two of you really well, but I would say Cam.
I think,
but I don't know the other two, and I've never seen their teams play.
So it's tough because like I think it's tough because Louis and I have talked about this where like our philosophy we have philosophies, but I also think that like our philosophies are more of like an adaptability. Like
to your players or to the way you're like, or as a player?
The players matter.
As a coach, you mean?
Right? Like having players matters. Like the type of players you have matters most, right? Mm-hmm. Like where like Cam and Tyler are very much like they have a system that they want to play.
They're gonna find the players.
Yeah. Now, of course, they're both. I mean, at the youth game, you have to have the ability to adapt. I would say that Tyler. I mean, he has the ability to play the way that he coaches, right? Like, but Tyler is actually. Which probably surprised you. Tyler is way more about like super possession than even Cam is.
Really?
Yeah. His teams are amazing.
I've never seen his team. I mean, I watched his teams play one time for like 20 minutes online. And I was like, all right, I gotta go watch wrestling.
Yeah, his teams are amazing, and like he's going to make you play out of the back. He's gonna make you do those things, and Cam will. But I also think that Cam has like
adapted.
Especially with, and he's talked about it like with like the Northwood, like he learned a little bit there where like, all right, there is other ways to go about there's other tools for.
I've had late night conversations with Cam about
right,
that.
And so like I would say Cam is still the most like he plays the most like how he coaches.
Yeah.
Because Cam doesn't want to play long passes.
Ever.
Cam wants to play.
He yells at you actually when you do that, and you're like, "Well, I thought it was a good idea," and he's like, "Well, it wasn't. You're an idiot." And I was like, "All right."
Tyler, like even though he's super possession, he wants the ball at his feet, but also like he's very much good with like, all right, you get the ball,
I remember playing Auburn one time. He goes, "Just swing it to me." I go, "I don't know that I can hit that fast."
Yeah. So like
hit it long. No, we ain't doing that.
I would say
Cam told me no.
Yeah. To be fair, in Auburn, it's a little easier to swing it than like on the.
Oh yeah, because it's 40 yards.
Yeah, it's great. So
you're like, I overhit it because I hit it 50.
But I do agree though. I think like it's not a bad thing. It's great. It's a great like. I think we have like a really good like collective of good minds and like mixed with like we have our friends and stuff like that. Yeah. So like it is good, but it is difficult. Like right, like especially when like you all kind of have your ideas and you're not really. And at that point, like, Cam and I, of course, are close. Tyler was not necessarily as close with us. Now we're definitely closer with Tyler. But, like, we're just not really. And I wasn't super comfortable.
We would have won the league this year, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm just.
No one can tell us any differently.
No, like, here's the thing is you can't prove that we wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. But so, like.
So I'm still thinking about that.
We would have definitely won the league.
We would have smacked you, Midland. I will call you out.
Legends. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I'm coming for you, Kyle Jean.
But, honestly, though, like, I wasn't super comfortable yet because, like, I was super early on.
You were young.
I was, like,
young in your career.
First year in, right? Like, so, like, we all had our, like, uncomfortabilities about each other, right? Yeah. Like, so none of us wanted to step on each other's toes because we didn't know, like, exactly
how they would react.
I think now maybe having a better relationship and, like, we have, like, talking about collaborated. So, like, we have that, like, understanding of each other and, like, how we work and whatnot. I think that'll lend itself to have more success because we have more trust and more knowledge of one another. where we can kind of bring all of our strengths to the table instead of kind of like every once in a while, like at halftime when we're pissed off because we're losing, like we bring our ideas to the table, right?
Right.
And so hopefully that kind of stuff happens. So I want to make a little switch here because I know that we're going to talk about wrestling.
We don't have to yet.
No,
you don't want to be here all night.
We will. I'll make sure that
my guy, my friend here.
I'll direct the conversation a little bit. I want to stay on like the playing side of it though, because I think that it is wrestling, and I think vice versa. Wrestling and soccer probably affected you positively on both sides.
Yeah,
like you took a lot from both
for sure.
Like having that wrestling background, right? What did that do for you as a soccer player?
So I mean, wrestling's it's a hand-in-hand combat sport.
Right, for sure.
So something that like, and I taught this, like, so Cam was like, when we went, going back to that, specifically, he's like, I want you to teach our outside backs to defend the way you defend.
Yeah.
And so and an issue that we ran into was they didn't have the mentality that I had.
Right.
So the biggest thing that wrestling did for me in soccer was a mentality. Like and my dad, I remember as a kid, my dad telling me, they ain't going to call everything. The official will not call every foul. I was like 8, man. And he was like, kick him. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, hit him right in the head. I don't care. Like, they will break eventually.
First 8-year-old that I know.
Dude, I got a yellow card when I was 7. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what happened. Let's touch. Let me clarify. The kid grabbed my jersey when I was dribbling, and I said, that's a foul. He can't grab me. And he continued to grab me. So, on a corner... See, here's the thing: is no one can prove that it actually happened. He may have been running front post to pick up like a pass, and I may have pushed him in the goalpost. Like, it's fine. It happened.
I suppose this is the perfect place for a story like that. Tactical foul, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was
tactical.
He did not play the rest of the game.
It was tactical.
We won the game. I remember vividly. We won 4-3, and I scored the winner. By the way, that's rare. So if anybody knows that I scored the winner, that's rare. That is true. Defender. But no, that was a mentality that was put into me very early. Like, so something that I like legitimately do I do it today. I did it in college. Like in wrestling, we talk about a hand fight.
Right.
It's different, obviously, in soccer.
Of course.
But the hand fight for me in soccer is I'm going to grab you. I'm going to grab your hands. I'm going to restrict your motion. I'm going to restrict your ability to move freely. It's going to irritate you. One, you're not going to run as fast. You're not going to be as mobile.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's irritating. So, I mean, a mental game, it's big. Like, again, like we talked about the competitive spirit. Like, that is my athleticism, my ability to run for a long time.
Right.
And my physicality. Like, I'm a little guy. I'm not big.
Right.
But, like, for my size, I'm very physical. For an outside back, I would say that I'm very physical. And that is what, like, I'm not afraid of anything because of that sport, because they're just like, we're going to punch.
Except for heading the ball.
Oh, we're not heading the ball. That's dumb. That is a stupid thing. No, I think, like, you just head fake at somebody. They pause. They freeze. Yeah. You get the ball. That's what, like, listen, you guys are all silly having to head the ball. That's silly. We're not doing that. Because on corners, we just mark the post, okay?
And then you let me get my noggin on it.
Well, listen, you're the one trying to be superhero over here. Listen. Listen, Superman. Like, be more like Clark Kent, all right? You don't need...
I got the glasses.
Yeah, you do. They're awesome too. But I mean, so those are the things. I mean, the sport of wrestling, listen, soccer affected me wrestling wise, understanding time and score, tactically. There was a lot of tactics that I ended up putting into my wrestling career. But focusing on the soccer part, like, it was a lot of just fearlessness. Like, yes, I'm not going to have the ball because I think it's stupid. Because it's actually dumb. I joke about that. Listen, youth players, you should have the ball. Like, your coach will get really mad at you if
unfortunately after U13. That's another conversation.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. That's also stupid. I won't touch on that. I don't want to get you canceled or anything. Cancel culture. But
I'm not popular enough to get canceled.
That's true. Well, you're not even well liked here.
True.
But I'm not afraid to block shots. Like, that's something that I do a lot. Going to tackles, I'm not afraid of that stuff. And that all like, not that I was terrified of it before wrestling became a big part of my life, but it just was like, you're going to get tough now and like go tackle, go do hard things. And, you know, and I think that's I think tenacity is a word that I would use for me to play defensively.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
I'm pretty in your face.
I think, and this is something that I teach when I teach defense. Obviously, I play, you know, defense as well. Not as long. I haven't played it.
No,
as
you
long
move. You're actually like a jack of all trades.
Yeah, and then it's kind of just worked out to where like I've shifted more defensively.
You're a
on.
6 though, right?
As soon as I'm fit.
Oh
Cam,
my God,
I got
Cam,
you.
Cam, we need to talk to your man.
I'm moving you to
talk
the 8.
to your man, Cam.
I gotta run a little bit more, but we'll be there. But no,
A bit more. That was mean. I shouldn't have said that. Cancel culture.
A lot of it more, but you know, it is what it is. No, but jackass.
I'm sorry. I needed to throw a jab. I needed to throw one.
No, but when I teach like defending, and I tell this to people, like, of course there's technique, but like realistically, like defending is just about work rate and positioning, right? Like,
yeah.
And so like, and I would almost also say that positioning, like, right, like just getting yourself in the right spot, your body in the right position. But like, I think number 1 is just work rate. 2A and 2B is positioning, and then also physicality. And so like, that's something that I talk about, right? Like, so I come from, obviously technically I did wrestle for a bit.
Yeah, you did. You were like there for a day.
No.
Because no, you didn't get to hit people with chairs or anything like that.
No, not that. I meant your wrestling.
I know, but I think that's why you quit though. I mean, you've
you're
told me
right.
the story, but I think that's a little bit of something. You were like, I'm going to get to be like Mankind and throw people through cages onto tacks.
That would have been great, but I didn't get to do that. No, but like, fun, like something that probably hasn't come out here is like my dad was a professional wrestler, right? Like, so
and actually like pretty well known.
Yeah. And so like I come from like a physical aspect, and that's all my dad wanted. He hated soccer growing up.
You played football though.
Yeah.
The other football.
I did one season, but I played a lot of flag. But like, you know, that's what he wanted. But like, I come from that background. Like, I joke like I did wrestling. I did it for like 3 weeks. I never actually got to go to a meet. And I wasn't even that bad. Like, I did all right. Like,
we almost got you on the high school team.
Yeah, we almost got. Yeah, I just was way too heavy. I was way too heavy.
Corey would have beat you up.
Yeah, that would have been bad. But so like,
he was really good though.
No, absolutely. But like, you know, the funny story is like I did wrestling actually first. It was actually the first sport that I did.
I did not know that.
Yep. Baseball got rained out somehow. Not tryouts, sign-ups. Only sport that there's sign-ups can get
That's
rained out.
because that's dumb. Because baseball's awful.
But so I did wrestling, and then
hot take.
Hilarious. The reason I quit was we would run around the mats, and it could have been Jeff Cush, honestly, a friend of ours. It might have been
my best friend's dad.
Yeah, and someone would tell me how to run, and that pissed me off so much. So I quit wrestling for the running. And then,
you went and played soccer.
And then I went and played soccer. And
love that for you.
Here we are. So
love that for you.
I make no sense, but I all fact, no facts, all feelings. That's really where we're at. All feelings, no facts.
Yeah, I mean, earlier we got into a discussion about how numbers don't matter.
Exactly. So, but to somehow wind this back, this is what happens on this podcast. So welcome.
Love
to the chaos that will ensue. But I come from a physicality background as well. Like, I did those sports, but obviously growing up with you, like we'd wrestle, I'd usually win because I was bigger.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I would cheat because I was going to win. Like we talked about this earlier, where I would stack my team so we didn't lose. That's just it.
But either way, like growing up with you, like I didn't wrestle, but I had an idea of
we like scrap though at home.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. All the time.
Every day. Every time we hung out, we just get mad about something's funny.
For no reason.
Which was awesome.
And so, but like I get that, right? Like so, like when I'm teaching defending, like I'm talking about those things, right? Like when I teach defending, and like the girls, they laugh so hard because they're like it's funny to them, but like I literally tell them to make a C with their hand,
control their hip,
because like if you control their hip, they're done.
No, so I mean, and I don't not that I coach this at a high level at all. So for me, like, and this is just what I do. The first thing that I look at when I'm defending, or even if I'm watching a defender, like, so I'll watch games and you watch other teams play and you're like, that defender's garbage. He's trash. Like, so something that I look at is like, one, like a big thing for me is lateral movement. Like, how do they move laterally? Because very much like you're going to try to put a guy in a position. Like you're going to try to force him one way. But if you're unable to, like, how do you react to that?
Yeah.
Lateral movement. Can you explode into a tackle? Can you explode to take away an angle? But eye discipline for me is number one. Like,
yeah.
Does a head fake or a step over or a cut, like simple movements, where is the guy's eyes? Like if he's looking at your head, like this dude has no idea.
Done, right.
He's done. So, and I, that's for me, like my biggest thing that I focused on when I was training to go to college and play at a high level was I need to make sure I'm focused on his body movement. Like, where are his hips going?
His hips. Can't fake that.
Where is hips going? He can't fake me. I mean, yeah, if a guy's really explosive, he can flip his hips really quickly.
Right, sure.
But more than likely, I'm probably not stopping that guy anyways.
Yeah, for
you know what I mean? He's a better athlete than me.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes you just tip your hat to a guy. Like, he gets you.
The truth is, defending, that's the thing about defending is, like, you're supposed to lose. A 1v1 situation.
That's hard.
You're supposed to lose.
Yeah.
So, like...
A win's a win. Like, hey, a win's a win, you know? And that's a... and there's... And, you talked about putting your hand on him. Like, so... And I think that it's really important to put a hand on a person. And I do this a lot. Like, I'm all over guys' hips. But for me, I don't want to be tight with a guy. I want to have...
for sure.
In wrestling, we talk about a bent arm. Like, we talk about bent arms. Like, never be straight arm. But in soccer, it's the same thing. Like... If I'm straight armed, like one, my arm's not that strong. Like I'm not able to move a guy. If I'm straight here, I can't move a guy. But if I can move him, but if I'm in tight and I don't have to bend my arm, and if I can just touch him with my hand and it's right here, he's going to be able to turn me very easily. Right. So finding that, and I think it depends on your athleticism. Like for me, like I can get tight to guys because I'm pretty quick over 10 yards. That I'm not afraid of a guy really running by me. Now, there's certain guys that we play against. I'm like, we're going to give him space, let him turn, and we'll deal with the consequences at that point.
Yeah.
And maybe you have to make a tackle. Maybe you just delay. Every situation's different depending on time, score, all those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for me, like, and I know, like, over 10 yards, I'm a little bit more explosive than you.
Yeah, for sure.
For you, like, I think, like, if I'm coaching you, I'm like, hey, let's give him space. Or if I'm, hey, leave that center back, like, leave the nine.
No. No, yeah, I want to delay to where, like, we have to collide.
So so just a question for you, how do you coach center back defending against outside back defending? Like, how much different do you teach basically the same principles, or are you utilizing different tools? Like, I guess I don't know.
I think it, again, right, like, obviously, when I'm teaching, if I'm teaching, like, technique, right? Yeah. I think it's player to player because my belief, and I think you have to have this, my belief is in my tactics will set them up to where, like, yes, they might do different things that accentuate them as players.
Yeah.
But the tactics will be good enough to where they can be different players. Yeah. And it will all work as a system, right? So, like, obviously, if it's like you said, right? Like, if the person is a little bit, like, if they're not quick, they're that quick over 10 yards. Obviously, like, I'm not going to say, space. I'm not going to tell you to get really tight, right? Depending on the situation, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if the ball's in the air and, like, you're a physical player and, like, you're...
Don't have the ball. It's dumb.
Get tight.
So dumb.
And, like, be physical. Yeah. Because you don't want that ball to skip and you're running with it.
What are we talking about? Why are we heading it?
Yeah.
This is silly, man. This is silly.
So it changes, right?
Yeah,
I think that's the big thing is, like, it has to change based on the player. And now, granted, right, like, it's different, especially in the youth game. Like, I get to pick my teams, right? Like, because you have tryouts and stuff like that. But, like, especially in this area, like, you don't have this massive, like, player pool, right? Like, so it's about developing these players. And, like, yes, you can form an idea of what you want a player to be. But ultimately, your job is not to, like, create this, like, carbon copy of this idea in your head. The idea is to, like, all right, this player has these attributes. All right, let's try to, like, either, like, go fucking ham on those attributes. Yeah. Or let's make those attributes more important by adding another attribute in there to make them a better all-around player.
For sure.
Right? And so that's the job.
That's coaching.
Yeah, right? And that's especially in the youth game, right? Like there's different levels, right? Like if I'm at a college level,
You can go recruit whatever
you
want.
can go recruit whatever you want. Professional level, same, right?
Sign 'em.
You can sign these players, right? So like it changes where you're at. But at the youth level, it's just about like it's not about finding the right players. It's about like finding the right attributes in the players to help your team.
100%.
And that's what it is.
So I'm just, I wanted to get your idea on that a little bit. Because I think defending at levels of the field is very different.
Yeah.
And part of it is you have to develop an awareness for the player.
Oh, for sure.
Of, okay, this player is extremely quick.
Yep.
Or this player is extremely fast, because those are different too. Or he's extremely technical, or she, whatever. And I think that's what you're alluding to there, and not really alluding to. You're talking about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's something, is an awareness as a player, especially as a defender, of understanding what you are. That's hard.
So
in my opinion, I think that's really, really
100%.
hard.
We do player evals during the winter, right?
Yeah.
And I have a 2004 team, so they're 16 or so, and some are younger. But the overarching theme of my the one consistent thing that I talk about everybody with right now, because one, it's important for their age, not only soccer wise, but like as people. But like I tell them, like the most important thing you can try to do is be as self-aware as possible, right?
Yeah.
I was like, look, I'm not expecting you to know exactly who you are at 16. Like, it's just not going to happen, especially as a person.
But understand your tendencies.
You have to start to understand who you are, right? Like, if you're not the player that can run with somebody, don't try to be that player, because it's going to end up in a failure. It will always. And it's the same thing in life, right? Like, don't try to be something you're not.
You'll never be it.
It's just not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's massive, and especially for older players, right? Like, obviously, I'm not having these conversations really with young players because
they're like 10 and it's really hard to have.
To be fair, I got 7 and 8 year olds,
right?
Like,
okay, even younger.
I don't need you to know who you are, because you're nothing yet.
Yeah,
right.
We're still molding you.
Like
you, me.
I make this joke all the time. Like, you're like until they're like 10, 11 years old, they're not even like real people fully.
Dude,
yet.
like I was talking about this the other day. Like, so my sister.
I love my kids, just so we're clear. But like,
no, so I'm not gonna go as far as he just went.
Well, you're a wrestling coach. You don't need to.
Yeah, but no, never mind. I won't get into that. So I was talking about this with my sister. So my sister had a baby over quarantine or beginning. Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah,
keep going.
No, I love her. She's awesome, Adeline. She's awesome. But for like the first 5 months, I wouldn't even touch her. 1, COVID. 2, like I was like, I might break her.
Right, I don't know.
I want to drop her. Like she might move and spit up, and I'll drop her or something. Like
right,
me.
Exactly.
So, but now she's like 9 months old, and I like play with her. She's my little pal. Like I'm making her do bridge and turns, and like it's awesome. Bridge and turn, get your base. Here we go. She's 9 months. She's like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? I'm trying to get on my back because I don't like it.
I'm trying to eat and sleep.
That's it. But like, I'm like, she's a little alien, dude.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm not touching her. She's a little alien. She's not a human yet. And like, I like think that until they're like 3 years old. Like, no, man, no, not holding you, not hanging out. No, we're not doing this. So I'm clearly appealing to everyone right now.
Yeah.
But no, I'm serious about that. And I think like you're onto something. Like the ideas of players and athletes as kids when they're little is mostly just please their parents.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that like that's their world when they're 5 and 6 is their parents. Like, that's their world. That's all they know.
Yeah, for sure.
And so they just want to make their parents proud. So they don't need to know who they are. Like their parents are still developing them. You as a coach are playing a role in their development of probably, for sure. Terrifying. Especially for people like me who are awful humans. But like you play this role of like developing them as young people and developing their self-confidence and developing and whether you know it or not, you're developing their self-worth, and like they need to know more than just like I'm a soccer player to him or her or whoever their coach is. And I think that's just a thing for me. And I don't know. I'm going to go on. I'll go on a soapbox otherwise.
I think and obviously I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. It sounds like, but like, is that one of the things that's more appealing? Because obviously you could go coach soccer right now. You could do it, obviously.
I think I could, yeah.
But like, is that one of the things that's more appealing about wrestling? Because like, you can have that, but like on a much deeper level because you are more one-on-one than you would be with.
For sure. Like, that was what got me to wrestling. Like, one of it's my siblings. Like, they did it, and I could help them. But, I had a good wrestling career, and I learned a lot. And so what it came down to me was, and it was more like, one, I could fix more problems quickly. Like I said earlier, like in a soccer team, like you guys are amazing. Like you're solving 27 problems at one time.
I'm
probably more than that.
I'm attempting to. I wouldn't say.
Yeah. Well, but the task itself is daunting.
Yeah, for sure.
Where I was like, my brain can't handle that.
Right.
Like I need to address this one now. We need to fix this one before we go to anything else. And like I have these kids that I have an unbelievable relationship with, and I think that's what was more appealing to me. Like, I love soccer, and I love playing, and every time you guys play, I want to get out there.
Right, for sure.
But I thought at 21, 22, that I could impact more lives wrestling. Because I think you impact more lives than I do.
Right.
Because you have more players.
Of course, I get what you're saying.
But I think that I can have a major... Like, I know one of my guys right now, man... He's awesome.
Right.
And, like, we have a big part of that in making him awesome. But I know when I talk to him, he takes everything I say to heart. Like, we wrestled this weekend, and I said something to him, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. That one probably hurt.
Yeah,
and we sat in the hotel lobby the next morning, and he was like, you were right. It was hard to swallow, but you were right.
Yeah.
And... and that's where, like, I think that we talked about self-awareness, and you're talking about it with 16-year-old kids. I was talking to
16-year-old
girls, which is even more difficult. I was talking to it with a 15-year-old boy, and he was like, you're right. And I was right because of the principles that we've instilled in his training.
Yeah.
And he believes in them. And I think that's the biggest thing in terms of just coaching overall. Like Dabo Sweeney talks about, that knowledge and discipline isn't the number one thing in coaching. It's love. And when your players when your players know you love them, you can coach them and you can discipline them. And I think that I don't know that love is necessarily the right word.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use the word love. I wouldn't, personally, because that word means something different to me.
Right, for sure.
But care. They need to know that you're interested and their best interest. So what I say to my guys is like, do you think that I have your best interest in mind? And if you do, then you need to trust me.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you don't, we need to address that. And maybe you need another coach, or maybe you need a different club or whatever. But you need to know that at my core, I believe that I'm doing what's best for you and your career and your development as a young man or young woman, usually young man in my case. But, those are things that, I mean, I know that you guys are at nationals are instilling those values into kids because I know you guys, and and for me that's important, and I think it is to you guys too.
I think it's understated, like how good, and not even just the older kids, even the younger kids, how like good their like detector is for like. When like you're bullshitting,
I think it's better with the younger kids.
Sometimes it is, and they know when you're not being like true to yourself or genuine, or you don't fully believe in it. And guess what? As soon as you don't fully believe in what you're doing, they don't believe in it.
They peace out,
and then they're out. And then the thing is, I think you're right that the younger kids can maybe they can sense it really easily. They just don't know
what to do with it.
What it means.
When an older kid,
they don't peace out. But the older kids,
they're done.
Yeah,
see you, man. It doesn't matter what you say. You could tell me
they're checking out.
1 + 1 is 2, and it might not be.
They're checking out, and so like that's the thing is like, and obviously we talked about it, and like just you have like as much as like I have to instill self-awareness in them, we have to do the same thing. And like the truth is like. Not only being self-aware, but like realizing when like you say, like you gotta know who you are, but like also knowing like, all right, I am me, but like me can be a little bit different and make these changes. And like, for you don't maybe necessarily, because it is one-on-one and like the technique, maybe it doesn't change as much. But like for me, like what I want for the team might change. Like, not game by game. That's way too reactionary. But it might change.
But it might. But in like your state cup setting, it might.
Right, like something like that, it could, right?
A big event.
Absolutely. And so, like, it doesn't matter the set, like the environment. Like, I think the biggest thing, it's like you said, like, they have, like, I think the word probably best is, like, they just have to, like, believe in you.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, they have to believe in everything that you're doing is.
But you have to make them believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have to believe in it as well.
Yeah,
right? Like,
you have to believe in it first.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest, I know this. I know for a fact, like, there's other factors, and like there's things I did believe in. Like, I didn't do as good of a job at points in the season this year with a team because there were some things that I'm like, I think soccer wise they could work, right? And they probably could have soccer wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I did not believe in them fully.
For your team?
For my team. And I think what happened is the players didn't believe in it either.
Yeah.
And now, do I think that was the cause of all of our problems? No, because there was still some belief, and like there was belief in principles that I had instilled, and so some things went awry. But I think a main thing that, like, because I'm not afraid to like raise my hand when like, yo, I fucked up, right? Like,
no, I literally lost. Like, that's, I mean, I'll say like something that, I mean, and on that idea, like kind of branching off on that idea and keeping the main idea there, is you're owning it as a coach. Yeah. So like the guy that I was talking about earlier, I lost him a state title. Like, me and my plan of what we said, this is what we're going to do in this match.
Right.
Lost him a state title. And he didn't blame me. He said I needed to be better in this position. Like, I got to a single leg twice and I didn't finish. And I looked at him. I didn't say anything that day. Like, you lost. We have more matches to win today.
Yeah, for sure.
And for me, and I tell him this all the time. I tell guys this that I get close with just because, not that, just guys that I'm closer with, we talk about principles and what we should be doing.
For sure.
And it's always go get the next best thing.
Right.
If you lose, go get the next one. Like, don't let one loss turn two. But I told him, I called him, like, so we got done on Sunday, and I called him Monday. I said, hey, bud, I lost you that match. That was me. Now, could you have helped my plan by wrestling better? 100%.
Oh, yes.
But I think, and I know this, I don't think it because we've talked about it and we're close. And I said, I apologize. I'm sorry. We'll get it next time. I'll be better. I'm going to improve. But I know that me, and he's told me, like, I still trust you. And quite frankly, his parents have told me, you owning that has made a bigger impact on him than anything.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, like, he can make, like, he's owning his mistakes. I have to own mine.
Yeah.
And because I didn't lose the match. I really didn't go out and lose it. But tactically, I think I did.
You didn't.
I didn't do him any favors.
Right. So I guess, So
you owning that for me is big. I don't know. It's just big.
Yeah, I think it matters in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, it's how you improve. If you can't admit that you're wrong or make mistakes, like, you're not going to improve because you're just
never
right. So one interesting thing that like I think I talked about with another coach or whatever, and I wonder if it's the same, if you have the same thought, or if it might just be different in wrestling. But like, I do wonder because like we have an impact, right? Like, as coaches, we create these plans and do these things. But like, I do wonder, like, if sometimes I think sometimes I even do this where like I think maybe I overvalue the impact that I actually do, not necessarily on like the players or the team, but like on the game that was presented. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, is that the same way?
So I think so, and I've talked to Cam about this stuff too. I think at the different levels, your impact on the game is different.
For sure.
So and I actually think that at the higher levels, your ability to adjust. Now, like, I haven't been at the world level. I've never coached a guy like Jordan Burroughs or Kyle Dake. Like, they have to make all the adjustments.
For sure.
But if I can look at a guy and say, hey, we need to make an adjustment. Like, for instance, we did this one. We were down in Kalamazoo. Kid was getting to our legs, and we couldn't do anything. But once we got on the mat, we were way better than him. And we made an adjustment, and it was a drastic one. Like we had to drop to a knee, do some very not radical things,
Right.
but in terms of the way he wrestles, it's radical.
Right.
So I think that like it varies. I don't know that I necessarily make an impact on the result necessarily,
Right.
but I do. I think your adjustments and your players' belief in you make, and especially in soccer, their belief in what you're adjusting to is huge. For wrestling, like I don't think a guy in the corner is worth more than a point. You know, like I'm not taking like for instance, if a 10-year-old, like there's I coach 10-year-olds, and there's a couple of them that they lose by 10 to a guy. I'm not making me being in the corner doesn't fit. We're not winning the match next time. No, we might drop it to 8 or 9. You know what I mean? Like just based on what I see. And I think, but at the end of the day, your worth, not your worth. That's a really poor choice of words. But your abilities are going to be displayed in a training, and you're not making those jumps overnight.
Yeah, I think the value, what you put into a team, really is only showed over the course of a season, maybe even
probably a year
or more than that, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's true. I think it's.
I overvalue my value in the corner for sure. I'm like, we're winning this match. We're beating that national champ.
I think it's a bit of a hard pill to swallow, but like it almost sometimes like makes you. It's a weird one, right? Like sometimes you feel better about like, all right, like there's nothing I could do.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, you're like, damn, I don't mean that much.
I don't even matter.
I don't even matter.
Like, he wrestled better without me there.
Damn, that sucks.
Or they played better. I was with my other team. Yeah,
for sure.
No, but like so I saw a graph today, and it's funny, and it's true, and it was a graph of a line, right, and it said success isn't this, and it was just a line shooting up,
right,
and it's like it's more like this, all these squiggles and then a line, and that's what it is, and that's what your trainings are. So I know, sure. and I'm going to ask a question like, I mean, last week I did 2 sessions in a row, like that's Usually, like in season, I do 2, but we're in this weird space right now with COVID, and
for sure.
So I'm not doing a lot of sessions. We're doing a lot of privates, and I had 2 privates back to back, very different age groups. First one I had like 4 or 5 guys who I think are going to podium in high school.
Yeah,
all state guys in high school, and then I got 9 and 10-year-olds, 10 and 11-year-olds next, and like I was so frustrated. So I did the high schoolers first, and then the youth guys. And, man, I was so pissed when I got done with the youth guys. I was like, we suck. We ain't going nowhere and winning. And I'm just, pouting and crying and being Collin, being emotional. And I, listen, being emotional helps me as a wrestling coach.
Yeah, for sure.
But it also, there's days where you leave and you're just emotionally drained because you're like, this sucks. We suck. I suck. They suck. Everything sucks. And I wonder about that. Like, with you guys, like, do you have to, like, I needed to lower my expectations from guys who are going to be the best kids in the state of Michigan when they're 16 to 10-year-olds. Like, do you struggle with that? Because clearly I struggle with it.
So it's almost like a double-edged sword, right? Like, you have to, like, temper your expectations and like be realistic, but also the moment where you stop like having like that belief in these kids is like you are to an extent failing them,
100% failing them,
but like, so there's a really thin line. And like for me, right, like I have 2012 girls, that is 8, and I have
8-year-olds,
I have 2013
7-year-olds
and a 14 on the team,
6-year-old.
Yep, absolutely, right. They're incredible though.
Quite frankly, like if I'm looking, I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah,
but it's probably incredibly fun.
But like if you watch them in certain games, you're like, oh, this team's legit. And honestly, like the girls are little ballers. Some of them are. Like, and I don't mean
they
like
should
some
get a
of
good
them.
coach then.
So
they should get a good coach.
Yeah,
then.
exactly. 100%. They need somebody else. But like, they're bopping people. They're just beating everybody. Like, right? Like their technique's not amazing yet. They still.
But they're 8.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And under.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm like, and I get mad at certain things, and like, and then they'll beat some teams, and then we have a day on a Friday, and like where we go to Midland, and like I hate losing to Midland more than any team. I don't know what it is.
It's because we hated them as kids.
It's ingrained in me, right?
Yeah, because Thomas Minbill put in a corner off a ball that I kicked out the end line
for
because you guys were hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And
whatever, Thomas, I'm over it.
Yeah,
it's fine. We were
sure.
10, but I'm over it 15 years later.
Yeah, but so we lose, and we lose pretty badly. Like it's like 6-1, right?
Yeah.
Which sounds really bad, but like when you think about
in a youth game, it's not.
It's not. And then I'm like, what is going on? Because nobody was good. Nobody was doing any of the things that they've been doing. And then I'm like, I'm frustrated after the game. And I do this for time I'm frustrated, right? Like I'm calling calling Cam, I'm calling Tyler, I'm calling Phil, I'm calling everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm just like and then I sit down and think, and I'm like, it's a Friday.
They're 8.
They could have had a bad day at school. They're not.
Could be excited about a birthday party.
They could have had so many things. It could just be a bad day. And you know what the funny thing is? Because these things usually come up and they smack you in the face chill out. We play them again, and we beat them 6-1 exactly the way I figured we would, and we could have beat them 10-1, right? And it's like, all right, Kyle, chill out.
Yeah,
they're
kids.
It's that, and I do that with the 2012s. I do that with the 2010 boys. I do that with my 04 girls, right? It is constant. I have this vision of because I see them in training.
What it should look like.
I compare them. I do these things, and I'm like, I know you can do this. I know we can be this. And then sometimes it happens. And then, but most of the time, the truth is it doesn't happen the way you envision it.
So
not perfectly.
Yeah, it never will. It never will either.
And so you have to learn to just temper that.
So question, I've been asking you a lot of questions too.
That's fine. We have a conversation.
What is it's what happens in conversation. So I know I have an idea, I'm going off an idea that you just gave me. What do you think is the hardest thing as a youth athlete to do? And I don't necessarily mean, I guess I'll just let you go and then I'll give you mine.
The hardest thing for a youth athlete to do?
Yeah, what's the hardest thing? Because I for sure have a number one for me.
I think it depends on the ages. I think, going off of my kids, but also going off of my experience, I do think that with being a youth athlete, and I think you have to probably be specific here because I think we're probably more or less talking about the youth athletes that are in travel sports and
that are being in competitive sports.
A little bit more higher level.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they're not the local programs, which technically I am.
But it's different. I think I do think that they have to sacrifice time, and the sacrifices that they have to make can stink a little bit.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that's when I think the roles that we play as coaches become the most valuable, because if we create an environment where they are just so happy to go to practice, right? Does not matter what's going on. That's just their place, right? And they're so happy to be there. I think those sacrifices become a lot less because it's not I gotta go to practice, so I can't go to this thing. It's
I get to go to practice.
I get to go to practice. Hey, I might want to go to that, but I want to go to practice. I want to go play soccer. I want to go wrestle, right? So I would say that they still have to sacrifice time that other kids necessarily don't have to.
Yeah. So on that real quick, I have a kid that travels an hour every day to come to practice. Yep. Not every day, but every day to practice, he has to travel an hour each way. And when he leaves school, I know he asks his dad, do I have to go to practice today?
Yeah.
And his dad's like, yes, you have to go to practice today. We have practice today. You have practice today. If you want to be the best, you have to go to practice. But once he gets in the truck, he's like, I get to go to wrestling practice.
Right.
So I don't think that and I agree with you too. And I think that's one. It's not where I was necessarily heading. But I think you're onto something, that you need to create an environment that they want to be in. It doesn't necessarily need to be they want to give that up over going to a birthday party.
No, of course
but
not.
It needs to be something that they don't dread. So for me, what I think is, and maybe this is, and I think that you're going to agree with me that it's one, maybe not the most. I think consistency as a youth athlete.
Oh, the
in
hardest thing.
all
Yeah,
aspects
for
of
sure.
consistently wanting to go to training and consistent in performances.
Yeah.
So hard.
For young, especially for
I mean, yeah, for young athletes. I mean, it's hard for like
the older
people
ones too.
forget like
It's hard for
high schoolers.
It's hard for
professional athletes. Like, I don't know. Like, I love certain players. Like, I'm a big Osprey guy.
To be fair, he's a consistent.
Yeah, but he was not consistent a couple years. He was consistently bad a couple years ago. But like we forget, like even though your players and some of my wrestlers are really high level guys, they have things. They have mom and dad might be fighting, and if they're 10, that affects you.
Yeah. I don't think they're real people until a certain age, but they are people.
Yeah, I think they're aliens.
They're
Not just you give them like 5 years to be aliens, and I think they're starting to develop into people. It's fine. Like you're insulting kids. It's fine. I get it. But no, seriously, like they're kids and their lives at home. And I'm not saying it's bad home lives, but there's things going on. Like sister might have had a bad day and yelled at him, or brother like punched him in the face before practice and it pissed him off, and he's like, I don't even want to be here.
I don't think I get as many of those as
I get a couple of those. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Mom is upset from work, or dad's in a bad mood because the meeting didn't go well today. You know, whatever it is.
I think, and like
these are things that these kids have to carry, and that we don't. Me as a coach, I don't think about that very much. I'm like, what are we working on today? Like, this is my practice plan. These are my hour and a half, my 2 hours. This is what we got to get through. I don't care what's going on with you. This is what we're getting through. And I think that disconnect and I think it's important to tell guys, like, hey, leave your stuff at the door.
Yeah.
You know, like, listen, this is our space to get better. Now, if there's life things, like actual life things going on, okay.
Yeah.
But, like, if it's just you're having a bad day, leave it at the door. We'll pick it up when you leave. Like, we're good, you know.
For sure.
But, yeah, I think you're onto something, too. Like, the time that they sacrifice is big.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's only 2 hours a day. Or it's only an hour and a half a day. But that's 4 days a week, 3 days a week.
Yeah, but then it is only an hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, depending on travel, stuff like that. But then the truth is, like, got to go do your homework. And, like, that's
shower.
You got to do those things. Stuff. And then it's like, oh, I didn't have as much time to, like, go do other things. And maybe that's not always a bad thing.
No, it's not.
It's really not. But, you know.
Distractions are distractions. And, like, maybe it's less time on TikTok or whatever it is.
This shit's just ridiculous.
It's TikTok.
I get it. I know you dress like an old man.
Cause I'm the get off my lawn old man. No, man. Like, I got a bunch of dudes coming in doing TikTok videos. I'm like, what are we doing? I'm like, hey, bud, each. What we got going on here? He's like, I was watching TikTok. He even calls it TikTok now. I got him calling it TikTok. I love it, man. They were like, it's called TikTok. I was like, it's TikTok.
You thought China was going to be mad at me. You're talking shit about their biggest product.
Man, because you were making China jokes, man.
That's not true.
You did. You said.
Love you, China. When you take over, I got you. Just kidding.
I mean, I'm not, you know, like,
just
hey, as long as our U.S. national team keeps beating
USA.
I'm in, man. We're about to win the world. We're about to win the Olympic title next year in wrestling, by the way, but it's fine. Go ahead. Keep going.
So, obviously, I think we can talk about, like, the youth sports and all this stuff. It's really important, but I do want to get a little bit onto the professional game because though you've stepped away
for sure a step back. I used to care a lot. We were good though.
You step back just in general from soccer as much as you were in it, right?
Yeah.
But you at least still like watch some games.
Keep up a little bit.
You watch. I don't know what it is with me being friends
with Chelsea fans.
I got you, Cam, and Tyler.
Tyler's a Chelsea fan?
Channel is a Chelsea fan.
No.
He is some bullshit.
Dude, I had him I never talked to him about it, but
because he's great at soccer United. I
get it. You're trying to be, I get it. No, I literally had him pegged for like Spurs or something like that.
How dare you insult him like that?
What do you mean insult him?
How dare you insult him?
They've been better than us lately.
How dare you insult him like that?
No, honestly, City, he's probably like, I like Pep. Possession guy,
No, he definitely likes Pep. This is bullshit.
Because he's the greatest man. I mean, back to you being wrong. Greatest manager of all time.
Anyways, but so Chelsea fans, stupid choice, but it is what it is.
Great life decision. There's actually a flag over there for you. You can show the people.
Stupid
later.
flag as well.
It's from Mexico, actually. Swear to God, I'm pretty sure I got on vacation.
So how are you feeling about Chelsea right now?
Oh, better. So we're doing this, Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Better after yesterday.
The West Ham game.
Yeah. I thought so I watched a little bit of the game. I had some stuff going on that I had to, I watched the first half, and you and I chatted about it. So I watched the first half live, and I watched a little bit of the second half, highlights on YouTube. Right. And, I thought we had I don't feel as good as I did a little while ago about winning the league. I just don't. But I'm also negative Nelly over here all the time.
That is true.
We're terrible at life. I don't know. I think the team's talented. I think the team's fairly young. But there's some growing up to do.
Yeah.
For sure. But a month ago, I was like, we can win the league. And now then we have the results we had recently. And I'm like, I don't know.
Do you put that down? So what would you say is more at fault? Frank?
Can't talk bad about Frank.
No, hey, Frank, the coaching, the managing, whatever it is, the just the youthness, the youngness of the team, right? Or do you just think that you're still missing pieces?
So, you and I chatted earlier, we were talking about, we need a 9. And then Giroud does what he does, and he's having a decent year.
Tammy's been...
I like Tammy.
Tammy's fired too. Tammy had a great season last year.
Tammy had a great season last year. I don't think he had the start that I necessarily... I don't know.
I think he tailed off more.
Right.
And obviously, maybe that was down to the big break, but he also got injured a little bit, right?
Right. So, there's... last season... He had a good year last year. I don't know. I honestly don't know because, I don't know what the break at. So when did they end the year last year? When did they finish the Premier League?
They ended
it's got to be summer, right?
Yeah, they ended it in summer. They ended it in July, I believe.
So, and when did they pick up? So they didn't have the normal break.
No.
So I don't know. I think in spots, I think in spots that helps teams and in spots it doesn't, right? If you have a young team, which we do in spots, right? We can manage that time off a little bit better than other teams. But at the same time, preseason's not as long.
Nope.
So that hurts us, right?
Especially, and you guys were in a similar boat to us and City, where you guys played later as well.
Yes.
Not as late. You guys played, so City and us played, which is why we have this stupid invisible game in hand that will never fucking go away.
You've had it for what, 6 weeks?
Well, the whole season, because when everyone else played,
I guess it's only it's 9 weeks, but
more now. We didn't play the first week when everybody else did.
Right.
City, us, because Aston Villa was supposed to be Man City's game. And then
I forget who you're
I don't remember the other team, but one of the other teams, I think it might have been Newcastle or something like that. We didn't play because of us and Man City they were in the Champions League semifinals and we were in the Europa League. So we both lost.
Yeah, one's better than the other though.
You're right.
Yeah.
Sevilla, we lost to the team that won though.
Fair. Spot the lie there. But yeah, I think being young doesn't help us. But Frank isn't a super mature manager.
No. So he's young as a manager, yeah.
For sure. So I think that plays I think it's 2-1 there. I think, that's a catch-22.
Yeah, it could be all of them, right?
It
probably is all of them.
It is all of them. And I talked to Cam and we didn't rotate very well.
And that's Frank.
That's Frank.
You have to,
for sure. But then you have Pulisic, who's out for a while with this injury.
ZX out.
Yeah, and then
COVID,
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID.
Havertz had COVID. Chilwell was hurt for a bit.
Chilwell was out. Yeah. So
yeah,
we're at the same time, other clubs are dealing with the same thing.
Right.
So that it's easy for me to say, well, look, we're fine. Like, we've had to deal with this, but we're not the only ones. I don't know. I think we're gonna mature as a team a little bit. I don't know that I think we compete. I think, as Jose said a couple of years ago, we're just a little horse. That's all we are.
Oh, you're going for the underdog.
Yeah, we're gonna go with the underdog role.
Right.
But I think for the yeah, I just think, that is a coward's way out of that. Where you just lower expectations so you can step over the bar. My dad's told me that a couple of times. Like, hey, why don't you just bring the bar down so you can step over it? But I think we're doing a good job. Is Frank the guy? I hope.
That's fair.
A month ago I didn't know.
But
I think, moving forward, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
If he's the guy, if he's the right manager, we're going to be fine moving forward. But only time will tell.
Are you happy with the direction, at least from like the way that you guys went about the transfer window, which is obviously a complete 180 from how you have been.
We're using the youth team now?
Well, no, the transfer market.
Oh, you mean where we're not going to
you just
have impulse buys?
Well, you just spent a shit ton of money where you haven't. I mean, obviously, you guys were not able to spend, but
as much.
But like, to be fair, like most people look at Chelsea and they look like, oh, big spenders, and not that you haven't been.
Well, we were for a long time.
You were,
and we had impulse buys.
Yeah,
like Fernando Torres.
Yeah, for sure. But you guys also have had a pretty long stretch of you haven't had big spending windows.
No, you look at one of the. For me, Osby's my guy. Super cheap buy. You don't agree?
No, Osby's great. It was a great buy.
He's a great buy.
No, it was phenomenal.
And he was I don't know.
I think he was
unbelievably cheap. I honestly don't know.
I want to say he was under 20 million.
Oh, under that for sure. I want to say under 10.
It might have been.
I won't look. Hazard was cheap.
Yeah, fairly cheap. Yeah.
He was
for the
player of the league. He was the player of his league.
What you got?
Well, but before
and what you spent?
He was the player. He was the player of the league.
Yeah, Ligue 1. Yeah.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
And then obviously
he was unbelievable for us. Was he? I know he won. Did he win Player of the Year twice? I want to say he won it twice.
He won it at least twice.
I think it was only twice. I could be off.
And he was your Player of the Year twice as well.
Three times.
Three times. And to be fair, he could have won it.
Every year he could have won it. He's the greatest player of all time.
Okay. I thought that was Osby.
No, he's just the greatest defender of all time.
Okay.
No shade, actually. Cool.
No, but it's really actually disheartening what's happened at Real Madrid with the injuries and stuff like that. But the truth is, he wasn't the most productive, as far as production
creation
goes.
Though
he did, but I don't care what anybody says. Hazard for probably 3 years was
watch the Belgium Brazil game in
he was the best player.
He was the best player in the tournament.
He was the best player in the Premier League for probably at least 3 years.
Especially his last year for sure.
Yeah. Even when his production
2015 when we won the league, far and away the best player.
Yeah, so maybe longer, right?
2017, so that's when I would argue that 2013, 2014 he was the best player. We fell apart late in the year.
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Who was better at that point?
Maybe I get you guys.
Silva, maybe David Silva
or Torre.
Oh yeah, I forgot about yeah.
But either way,
But he's in the okay. But he's in the next year he wins Player of the League. Far and away the best player. We have the shit show of 2016. Thank you, Jose.
We all love Jose on the show, as you can tell.
Yeah, he's great. I love winning the league. Set up for the next 5 years and you piss it away.
Yeah.
It's fine. And then you get Conte in 2016, 2017.
Got both Contes.
Yeah. And then Gola was incredible. No, but we had him.
No, but
that was 2016 we got him. Yeah, when we signed him.
You got both.
After Leicester.
Unbelievable that happened. Yeah. But no,
I don't even know how after they win the league, whatever. But then I think in that year, we win the league, right? 2017 we won the league?
Yeah,
right?
Did really well.
He was unbelievable. 2018.
No, I think
Things kind of unraveled for us a little bit. Like, we were super competitive, but
I think
you know,
I think
I don't
the
know.
mid 2000s to 2010 area. Obviously, there was some after that. Was lavish spending big money a lot of times.
Yeah, early 2010s was too.
But I think most of the 2010s has been very
Responsible buys.
yeah, like to the point where like you guys have like made more money from selling players at times than you actually did in spending money,
Yeah.
which is
and
great.
I think the youth development's been better too. Like,
I mean, yeah, there's no
like
we have
Morris has been great.
we have Jody and then I can't think of the other one, but they were both very good, and I think they're both on the staff with.
Yeah, they are.
But I love our youth system, and it's world renowned. It's one of the best.
It's just not as good. It's fine.
Over time, it's up there with like the only ones that you can look is Barca and like Ajax and stuff like that.
So Ajax is incredible though with their youth system.
Absolutely, and like Manchester United over the years have been.
Yeah, they're
at
almost
the
as
same
good
way.
as Chelsea. It's fine, just like in the Premier League.
I was gonna give you a compliment, but fuck you. Never mind. But Chelsea's youth system they've been the best. They
win things at the youth level.
The amount of youth FA Cups they've won in the last 10 years is ridiculous. Now, to be fair, United is coming for your ass, and we beat you the last time in the
last year.
I think it was last year, yeah. So, but no, Chelsea's been great as far as
And they're
the
consistently
youth
good.
team. The problem you guys have faced is the integration of those successful youth players and making them successful first team players has not been great.
I think that they do a good job of bringing them up. I just don't think you ever get the stars out of it. Like, because Mason's doing great.
To be fair, Reese is doing great.
Reese is doing great too. But
this has been the best bunch,
right? But prior to them, who was the one?
And Tammy's another one, obviously. So.
Okay, but that's still the same group.
Yeah, no, it's the same group.
So before that, who is it in the youth team? Like,
you haven't had anybody that you've actually brought
was
up.
Loftus-Cheek in the youth team?
Loftus-Cheek, yeah, absolutely.
But he has never been elite. But he was probably the best, right?
He's probably
at the time.
Obviously. Why am I blanking on his name? Your winger, but he's got two last names. I just can't think of either of them right now.
What are you talking about?
Winger right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi.
Hudson-Odoi, I mean, you got to think, like, he's a player that, like, that guy was...
He's unbelievable.
I mean, to be fair, he's still done okay. He's been riddled with...
But as a youth player, he was unbelievable.
He was scary good.
Yeah.
He was
way better than Mason.
He was, at times, he was better than Jaden.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Okay.
He was scoring more than...
So...
You know what I mean? Like,
so why? So what do you think that the issue is at developing them into stars at the first team? Is it coaching?
I think...
Or is it...
Do
you think that they're putting too much of an emphasis on winning at the youth level opposed to developing?
Possibly. Maybe. No. Maybe.
Because is that a thing?
Because
is that a thing at 18 years old? Because I don't know. I think at 18 you should know how to win.
I do wonder... No, because I still feel like there are Chelsea young players that have gone on places and that are having success other places when they don't make it as Chelsea players. Not all, and maybe.
Are you saying youth team members or young players? Because those are different.
Youth team players, like they were part of those teams, right? Like the best example, and to be fair, I guess he's part of this crop, which was maybe handled differently. But no, I still think because he didn't make it is Tariq Lamptey.
Yeah, probably.
Who's fucking balling at Brighton. He's unbelievable. But the truth is, you can't be mad at the kid for leaving because, like, he's not getting in over Reese or Ospie. He's not going to get time.
I mean, Ospie's the club captain, and Reese has been, like, he's going to be my next favorite player.
Well, Reese, to be fair, and Reese, and, like, you guys have done a good job of sending players out on loans. The one thing I do wonder...
We send them out all the time.
You send out everybody. The one thing I wonder is... up until lately, I wonder if maybe you just have not been sending players out to the proper loans, right? Like,
okay, but
like think about how we're talking about all these players right now. We're talking about Mason. We're talking about Reese. We're talking about Tammy. We're talking about Tamori. right?
Hudson's the same way.
Hudson never went.
That's what I'm saying. Well, okay, yeah. That I guess that's my argument against it. Is like he didn't go anywhere. Is that why?
But he's having less success than I would.
That's
say
what I mean. Like, is that like that's what I guess that's kind of my point. Like,
I think maybe yes, you have this like mass loan system, but I almost wonder if it was more of like, like the spaghetti at the wall thing. Just throw it until it sticks instead of like really like pinpointing where
they should go.
Where I think you did, and now. Some of it might be luck, right? Like, I think Mason and Tamori probably don't go to Derby if Frank's not the head coach.
Right.
But...
That's fair.
But it was a perfect situation for him.
But I don't know that that's necessarily luck, right? Because I think that they know Frank may be our next guy.
Maybe. And also, he's probably going to have some, like, trust in them, and that's the other thing is like sending them where they're gonna get game time, right? Like,
well, he's a Chelsea man, so like
and like Tamori did really well. Mason proved himself. Reese goes to Wigan. I mean, to be fair, he goes to Wigan, who's shit, but the guy plays center mid, he plays right back, he plays center back. Right. He got all this experience and like at all these places. And I mean, he's their player of the season. And then Tammy obviously goes on the loan with Swansea.
Yep.
Gets I'm sorry. I think he went to... Was it Swansea where he scored 29 in the championship? Or was that... I think
it was...
Might have been... I don't know. Either way. That doesn't...
That's
he scored 29 in the championship. I think he went on loan to Swansea in the league when they were up.
Yep, when they went up.
He did okay. Not great. Then he went back on loan to another club, Aston Villa or whatever, I think.
Did he go to Aston Villa?
I want to say it was Aston Villa.
I don't know that.
I'm pretty sure it was. Did well, right? Again, came back.
Does well.
Hey, you're our first team guy. To be fair, he did do well. Got hurt. Giroud's there.
Giroud's been great.
Doing okay. It seemed like there's been this belief that maybe he's not the guy. That's what I would assume. That's why you get...
Giroud?
No,
or
not Tammy.
Okay.
Because why else do you get Werner? But regardless,
not great.
He's a great look. The guy scored 40 goals. Absolutely,
not for us.
But to go back,
Fernando Torres scored a bunch of goals too. How'd that work out for us?
He didn't. Yeah.
He did get us to. He did score against Barca and put us through the Champions
I was gonna say.
finals.
To be fair, I think the big goals that he scored, as much as and honestly, he did some all right things. But I would say that the big goals that he scored made up for the bad plays, and it paid for it.
And the big assist against
he paid for
against
it.
Liverpool.
He paid for himself with the goals that you guys scored and like to get you to wins.
Yeah,
I would say that he paid for himself, even though
a lot of money,
too much money, but he paid for himself just because like, hey, without him there, you're not winning those games, right?
Yeah, probably.
So I don't know. I think you have a good system. You have a good youth system. I think that it seems like you're figuring out a way to integrate the young players. I think, obviously, the interesting thing is, like, do you do that if you don't have the transfer ban?
Probably not.
And that's the interesting thing, right?
So, but you see some success with it.
But you might, because does Frank feel the same pressure to succeed, like, immediately, like other Chelsea managers? I don't think he does.
I think he has a little bit of.
I think he internally does, but I don't think there's as much pressure
from the
board like there has been for those guys. Because Frank's your guy.
I mean, yeah, he's a legend,
right? Like,
yeah, I think Frank wants to win now, and I think he wants to win everything.
Of course,
as he should. He's got good players. I mean, we're not like you're right. We're not spending lavishly, but
you did this
transfer window,
yes,
but
you hadn't before.
We had not before.
Hadn't in a while, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last one? 2012,
maybe, but kind of. I know.
I'm just trying to think of the players we bought, like Willian.
What a buy!
Yeah, great. Whatever.
I love that.
Whatever.
For you.
Shut up.
I love that for you guys.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Do you love that? You don't love. I love the Di Maria buy for you guys.
To be fair, great buy, poorly executed.
Yeah, so it seemed great.
Di Maria is 10 times the player that Willian is.
I agree, but
so,
not.
It worked.
Yeah, but at the time, I remember having a conversation with you like he might be the best winger in the Premier League, and I'm like, we have Hazard, so stop.
I mean, I had a real reason because he had just won a Champions League and was the best player
in the semi, not in the. Oh yeah, no, in the final.
in the final.
In the final, he was.
I mean, of course, the best player on the field was still Ronaldo, but like
not in the game.
the best player in that game was Di Maria.
100% was Di Maria.
So
he was
like,
better. Yeah, but Hazard was better than him and is better than him and will continue to be better than him.
I mean, Di Maria's put up better numbers than him.
Okay. We just talked about how Hazard was not necessarily a production guy.
Either way, I'm busting your balls more than anything. But
and
yeah,
you're wrong. But
so I mean, I think. So right now,
yes.
If you have to put a pin on it and like stamp your flag, where do you see this Chelsea team right now as it stands? Maybe they make some moves in January. I don't see them.
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. Where do you think this team, with Frank at the helm, with the players you have, where do you think they finish
in the league?
Yeah,
third or fourth.
You think they're still finishing?
I think they're going to be a Champions League.
I think they're that. I think they. Have
I think they're that. I think they have. So I mean, I think we figure it out.
I think there's more competition though for those spots.
Oh yeah. I think that's what 8 deep. I think you could realistically get there where you're like
Liverpool, United, Chelsea, City.
I don't know why you got to put United ahead of Chelsea.
Because they are in the table.
That's where you haven't finished it?
No.
What's your top 6?
Well, okay. Well, Arsenal's out. Leicester's in there. I think Everton realistically.
I think Everton's solid.
Tottenham, that's 7 right there. And
I mean, are you putting Arsenal in there as 8?
No, hell no. They're fucking terrible. Have you seen them?
I have not. I mean, we talked on the phone today, and they were getting pumped. Would it finish 4-1?
They're in 15th place right now.
Yeah, but they can finish 8th. It's not unreasonable. Chelsea was like 27th, I'm pretty sure, at one point when we finished 12th.
You haven't seen them play.
I haven't.
And to be fair, they could. Their team is good enough to finish 8th. I agree. I just don't think they are because they suck. But
hey, their goalie's good, though.
Yeah. That was their backup goalie.
Oh, is that who played today?
Yeah, it wasn't Leno. So, which is hilarious because to be fair, it wasn't a bad idea. It was great for him, but they gave up their really good backup, who when Leno went out, literally like was a monster, and so they have this like young kid. It's just poor thing, like like it kind of sucks, right? Like he's in a game against City, like you got to show up, right? Like that's how it goes, but like, that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, they didn't have a great showing.
No, but so
I didn't watch the game, but I watched the scoreline.
Yeah, not great.
As I was watching something else.
Liverpool, because that's the one that everyone thinks is going to win the title right now, regardless of that's what I think.
What do you think?
United.
You think United's going to win, don't you?
I don't think that yet, but
When will you believe? Last day of the year when they're in first?
No.
Because that seems like something that you
When
would do.
I will believe.
That's something I would do.
Yeah, 100% something you do.
Like Chelsea's not going to win. Chelsea's not going to win.
Honestly, you know when I'll believe? Is after January 17th when we play Liverpool.
Do you have to win the game?
No, I don't think we have to win the game.
Draw, you're good.
Well, we have that game. We have the game in hand.
Right, but do you feel like is it performance based or is it results based of what you're going to think?
I think it's performance based. Because if we are, because January 17th, that's about half. I think we'll be almost halfway through the season, and I mean, realistically, it'll probably be more of like 3/4 of the way through the season because I think that's more realistic. But like, I think after,
I mean, how many games have been played right now? In ballpark. I thought it was like 15-ish.
Yeah, it's like 16, 17.
Somewhere there.
So we're like 15. We're
So
close to halfway.
Well, I mean, typically, right? Like they say, like don't look at the standings until Christmas.
Yeah, and I think January 7th.
So
January 17th is when we play Liverpool, and I think, because they could potentially drop a game by like at that point, and if they like a tie or whatever.
Yeah, they could. They 100% could.
They have been, and so like the thing is, like the truth is, when we play them, we could potentially go ahead of them.
How many are you behind right now? We have a game in hand.
But
do you get that game in hand before that game?
I have no. I don't think we even know when we get it.
Nice job.
That's
not you, but just
that. I'm pretty sure. I imagine it's gonna be later on. The speculation is that they're gonna put it in between. I think we have to play City and Tottenham. And that's a gap that they could potentially put it in.
Slot it in there.
And something like that. And that's when they think that they'll probably put it in. which is like, that makes so much sense.
I like it.
Yeah, but so
I think it's a good idea.
I think realistically though, that game is the most telling, and I don't necessarily believe that it is solely based on the outcome, though. I think obviously it matters, right? Like we can't lose. You can, but the truth is really like, right? Like that's the thing is like, even like I believe
I'm okay with if you lose that game.
we're 5 points out with the game in hand, so it means we could be 2, right?
Let me look.
I believe that's right.
This is great. People are gonna love this.
I'll make sure that we keep talking. But so like we get there, right? Like if they've dropped points and then we win that game,
So here's the table.
I'm ready. We're not in second right now.
You're in
Third.
Chelsea's in 5th.
Yes, you are.
Okay, we get it. You're a point ahead of us.
And hang on.
Okay, you played one less game. Okay, we get it. You've only been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
You're right.
You are 5 points back.
Yep. So we can beat 2 if we beat whoever the hell we're playing next.
You play
Everton tomorrow, but that's FA Cup.
Yeah, it's FA Cup. So Saturday you play Leicester.
That's a big game.
It's a very big game.
Right? So
Well, yeah, I mean Leicester's
second.
Yeah, they're second.
Yeah.
For some reason I was looking below you, but
You think City's gonna win it still?
kinda.
Okay, so City, Liverpool,
City, Liverpool.
and then you,
Then us.
and
And
then
then probably Everton.
Everton, really?
And then Leicester. And then Tottenham.
And we're 7th.
And then Arsenal.
Just
No, I think you're going to be like 4th. I think you'll be 4th.
Wow.
I honestly think that it's going to be. I think City and Liverpool are top 2. I like City better than I like Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because everybody hates Liverpool.
Damn right.
I mean, I don't know anybody.
Cam doesn't really hate them, which just pisses me off.
Really? Why not?
I don't know.
Does he have a good reason?
No. To be fair, I don't have a great reason to hate him, but fuck
Well, I
them.
do. Besides the fact that they were like, we won Champions League 50 years ago, and you're like, okay,
Well, they won in 05, but that is or 06.
we don't count that.
But they haven't won until this last year. They hadn't won a Premier
anything.
League. You didn't win shit.
Nothing. I mean, I get you're right about 05. You're right.
That game was pretty fucking incredible. But like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, you're annoying. Like, you were great in the 60s. 70s.
80s.
All right, I'm trying to keep it longer than it was, all right?
Now, to be fair,
And it's still 40 years, 30 years.
30 years before since they had won a league title. So
Yeah, I mean,
you suck.
Liverpool. Suck it, Liverpool. Yeah. No one likes you. No, I mean, I think that's going to be it, and I think we're 3rd and 4th. And I don't know that it qualify, you know. I guess 4th is worse than 3rd, but
Yeah, you would know about that.
fuck off.
Yeah, I mean,
You know about that.
I mean, you've been taking your shots.
Yeah, I deserve
You
that.
lined that one up,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I had
you're-
to take. I had to take.
I mean, yeah, because we had to do it, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Remember that time we beat Spurs by like 40 points for 4th? That's not true. Not points, but like goal differential beat them by like 15 for 4th.
I mean,
That was a while ago, but
we got beat on goal differential by
for a
City.
league, right?
Do
you remember that?
And
I think you and I were together when that happened. Do you remember that? You were celebrating in Applebee's in Bertrand. Am I wrong?
Yo, I hate QPR so much. How you just
You want 2 goals real quick.
how
You're winning.
how you be that bad?
You're up by a goal.
Just
Close out the game.
They didn't need to win. They just needed to tie that game.
That's all you were asking for.
That's all I was asking for. Nothing much.
And you were up in the 90th minute? Something like that, right?
Yeah, it was an extra time. It was the last.
They scored twice in extra time?
I might have. Fucking Aguero. God damn.
He's pretty good. Man, he was probably better. Hey, we were talking about who was better than Hazard. That might be one.
Yo, he's
We shouldn't have brought him up.
he's ridiculous. But no.
Unbelievable.
I think United.
QPR, one of my favorite teams of all time.
No, they're not, because they beat you every time they
That's
win.
okay, but that's fair. Like, them and Crystal Palace, not big fans.
You guys lose to all the shit London clubs.
Well, we used to.
You did beat West Ham, so that's good.
Yeah, so we used to. but we used to beat the Big Six.
Yeah. Now you just
We're not doing that.
iffy on all of the front. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, honestly though.
So like when you talked about like how like our team used to like be nails for 70 minutes and then like kind of like give up to like the bigger teams, you guys are kind of like, I don't know what's happening for about 70 minutes, and then you'll go.
Then we get nails,
and then you score some. You'll
tough. We're tough.
Big header from somebody or something.
Typically,
yeah.
No, I mean I don't know.
No, you guys are, look. I think you guys are a fun squad. I think you guys are set up for the future. I don't think you're set up for the now necessarily.
But right now is the goal just like I don't think the league this year was to win the league. Like I didn't have that expectation.
No, I don't think anyone did. I mean, like, of course, like the teams do, right? They should. Right?
If you don't kick rocks.
Yeah, but like I didn't expect us to be in this place. And honestly, the funniest part about it is the narrative around United would make you think like if you didn't look at the league and you had no clue and you just like read like articles or like saw like
you're not good
headlines, you're like you would think United are where Arsenal is in 15th place and like
a couple weeks ago you were like outside the top 10.
Yeah, but we had like 3 games in hand.
2.
It
was 2,
and like I get it, the Champions League thing sucks, but like at the same time, like again, it's one of those things where you gotta like temper your expectations. It's like,
where did you expect them to be?
We finished exactly where everybody expected us to finish.
Right.
Now, granted, you beat PSG and Leipzig the way you do. Like maybe you just get you don't lose to the Istanbul. Maybe we just don't do that. But like
I think Chelsea did that a couple years ago.
But the truth is, we are exactly where everyone expected us to be in Champions League. And we're exceeding where everyone thought we would.
In the league.
And so it's like...
Well, you'll fall back to expectations, but...
No. We're great. We're getting better, too. Like, that's the thing.
That is true.
Yes, Leeds are set up perfectly for us to beat them the way that we did. But we did it, and we looked really good doing it. We've looked a lot better.
Yeah, you have to take care of your results.
And not only that, we've been rotating like crazy. Like again, like you guys have been rotating. Like we didn't play the same team against.
Yeah, but we didn't do that for a long time.
No, I know, but you guys are doing
lately.
And we didn't either. Really, like we, like Bruno didn't start in the one game. Like we didn't need him to, and we won the game, right? Like like whatever it is, like. It's just Bruno didn't score in the game. Like we didn't need him to be
right.
Like we're starting to get together. Like Rashford is doing well, underrated, but like he's still not firing on all cylinders. Martial has not had a great season so far. He's playing a lot better. Like the last game, like against Leeds, he was incredible. I'd say unlucky. Should be on the score sheet, and that's on him a little bit. But like he had 2 assists, so like Andy won a penalty, so it's a good game, right? But he's not scoring goals. Mason's not scoring goals yet. They're going to score goals. Like, those guys are going to score goals.
Eventually.
Right? Like,
hopefully not against good teams, but...
I'm hoping against good teams. That'd be great. Rashford's got big balls. He scores against all the big teams. That's the one thing about Rashford. You name a big team, he scored against them. Big moment.
Scored in it.
Yo, he said, put the fucking hammer on the table real quick and showed it to everybody. He wiggled it and everything.
Whatever. A little graphic, but it's fine.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Carry on.
So,
no one cares about United.
No, a lot of people do. That's the thing that makes you mad is a lot of people do. Actually, more people care about United than Chelsea, and that
not in this room.
Yeah, it's equal.
Yeah. So, and it's my house, so it's 2-1.
I used to live here.
That's fair. It's your room.
It was my room, and so it's my podcast, so I win.
All right, fair enough. You win.
But no, I think we're both part of. We support teams that have exciting projects, but also are having. Are a lot more fun to watch than they have been in years past.
Long time.
And are more competitive than they've been
in a long time.
Yeah, and obviously, there's been periods, but like.
When did you win a league last?
I'm
just curious.
Same year I graduated.
Okay. It's been a minute.
It is what it is. But
so we've won 2 since then.
All right.
I'm asking for a friend.
It is what it is.
The friend's me. I'm the friend.
All right. Anyways, so I think we're both excited. I think we can talk shit to each other and do this all day. But we got to wrap this up at some point. And I think this is probably a good note. We're talking about Chelsea, talking about United. We're both excited. The league's competitive. That's fun. No, but for real, we talk shit. That's just how this goes.
No,
but like
it's good.
That's friendship, guys.
Yeah.
It's a lot of abuse.
My man over here gets red cards when we're down a game, like we're winning a game 2-1, and he gets a red card. It's fine.
This story does not need to be brought up again.
Oh no, I'll bring it up. Did somebody else bring it up?
Of course, Cameron brought it up.
I know Cam brought it up.
So this is the perfect time to get the hell out of here. Collin, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Obviously,
man.
conversations are always good. We'll do it again. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time. Love you guys. Peace.